Newton's law of universal gravitation, or Newtonian gravity, is a physical law created by Sir Isaac Newton, found in his work, which was published on the 5th of July in 1687. This law, in short, explains how every particle attracts every other particle with a force proportional to its mass and inversely proportional to the square of the distance from each other's centers, no matter how distant they are. From this we can use the equation gravitational acceleration is equal to g times m divided by d squared, where m is the mass of the acting object, d is the distance between the objects, and capital G is the gravitational constant. If you examine this equation alongside the original law, you'll notice it exactly matches what is described as the law of universal gravitation. I've decided to create a simulation where the player controls a spaceship to explore a procedurally generated universe. However, the fundamentals of physics are still fake in my program of choice, Unity, so I'll need to write my own forces-based physics engine. Even though Unity has a pre-built one, it's more fun if I do it myself. Right now the most important thing is adding Newtonian gravity. It's simple in principle. Objects that are affected by gravity, which would be realistically everything, will gather every object in the scene that can generate gravity, and every frame calculate the sum of all forces based on the equation derived from Newton's law of universal gravitation, and add those accelerations to the object. Of course, nothing ever works fine the first time in software. I think Sun Tzu said that actually. Everything would fall down, just not in the right way, towards the sun. It was falling east along the stellar plane, which wasn't right. It should always be falling north, towards the sun. I was checking over my math and the code over and over again for about an hour before it just came to me. I left Unity's default gravity on, the downwards facing one. One little tiny checkbox had caused me an hour's frustration. Gotta love software. Then it just worked perfectly, without any questions asked. This was surprising, to say the least. With this small victory, I threw together another script. This one generates a bunch of planets around the sun, each with their own small gravity. This also worked perfectly, first time. This is not good. Computers always do this to me when they're about to ruin an entire project. Gravity was acting a little funny, but I know exactly why it's doing this, and I fixed it in a later version. I just forgot to normalize the direction values, which is essentially just dividing it by the largest number in the vector. So the gravity forces actually got bigger as the objects got farther away and smaller as they got closer, which was a problem. It was pretty fun to watch all the planets bounce around on the surface of the sun, and if I turned off the sun's gravity, they would all clump together and fly away, as expected. With gravity finished, I was ready to move on to things like player control, which I was not looking forward to in the least.